What's up everybody? It's me Blake, aka the Pop Nook. This is the maybe long-awaited room tour. I get questions about this all the time, wanting to see my space in totality. I have been very eager to do this, but also very hesitant because I just have felt very I don't know if it's time. I don't know if the space is ready, but the space is as ready as it's ever gonna be. I have accepted that a room tour does not have to be a perfect room tour. Not everything is gonna stay the same. My collection, my displays are ever changing. So without further ado, welcome to my space. This could be called the Pop Nook. This is the room tour I've been promising so many people. The start of my YouTube channel. I don't know, lots of fun things to come. We're posting this on January 1st. It's 2022, Happy New Year. Let's do this. So the way that my bedroom is laid out is that I have the bathroom right when you walk in, and then there is this little hallway with closets on either side. Hello, hello, hello. And it leads right into my bedroom. Now, the fun thing about my bedroom space is that it is where I sleep, but it is also where I work and also where I film all my content. And some people have a pop room, but my room is just a room with all of my life's things in it. So I guess I'm just gonna show you everything. This is a little section that is very special to me because these are things that people have gifted to me. This is an amazing painting of my logo that somebody gave me at a pop meet, and this awesome key holder that I use to hold some keychains that have also been gifts that my friend actually had made for me overseas. So fun little nod to just who I am and some really special mementos for me here. Then moving to the left of that space, we have my TV and my dresser, as well as one of my shelf setups. So this is a newer display that I got from Shop Fenlo. It is an LED powered fancy display. There's a bunch of layers, and I use this as my overflow for my Harry Potter collection because I have some items like the burrow that are just too big for a normal size shelf. And in order to maximize my shelf space on my Billy bookcase, this was the perfect solution. Of course, just got this 18-inch Harry Potter for Christmas, which is massive and epic. I love him so much. So I put him right here, and then I have my regular size Harry Pop right next to him to show that fun scale, but also just for matchy-matchy. I love to have my fireplace going on YouTube on my Apple TV, and these two shelves are a little bit of a random aspect of my collection, but super important nonetheless. I've got my Disney Princess Ultimate Princess collection here. Waves 1 and 2, starting over there with Aurora, going all the way down the line to Snow White. My top shelf up there is a nod to some of my favorite movies and things that I loved growing up, so it's more of a nostalgic shelf. We've got the E.T. set here with E.T., Gertie, and Elliot, some Jurassic Park pops, Keith Haring, which is a shout out to my wall, and Twilight, of course. There are truly pops everywhere. I have my nod to Freddy Funko and just Funko in general right there in front of my TV as a nice little centerpiece. So that is essentially the left side of that wall of my room, and then on the other side of the hallway you begin my Billy bookcase extravaganza. Up until I moved here in June, I actually had a ton of pops in their boxes just stored in my closet underneath my clothes. Doors closed, couldn't see them, they didn't get any light of day, and it was a super sad way for me to collect because I was really into pops. I just didn't have the space. So when I moved here, getting the Billy bookcase was like the first step that I could even think of. My friend Vicky, on Instagram, you can find her at Vicky's Pops. She really inspired me with her display to get some big shelves in my space and embrace the out-of-box life because I had been doing that before. I just didn't have the space to do it the way that I really wanted to. This wall next to my Harry Potter designated Billy bookcase is a complete work in progress. I want to get a new wand holder here. Got this one on Etsy, but was just a little disappointed in the quality, and I really want to get the one from Accio Art Creations, so this wall's a process for sure, and I would love to fill it up even more. But this Billy bookcase of all my Harry Potter Funko Pops is such a dream project for me. It's been so fun to get it all together. I'll give you a closer look at some of my favorite shelves that I've recently worked on. We've got Harry with the Chocolate Frog, some pieces from the Noble collection mixed in with my Funko Pops in a nice variety on my shelves. Got these nerdy ink dust jackets on a set of books that is a pretty new addition to my shelf. But this shelf is definitely like a passion project for me. It's ever changing. This shelf with the magical creatures and Dobby and all of that has totally changed in the last week or so. And you know, I've got this Diagon Alley set that I'm really looking forward to completing so that it can span that whole shelf. I really could talk forever and ever about the pops behind me. I could go into detail about every single shelf, but for now I'll just kind of outline what is where and if I have any future plans for certain collections and things like that. Well, a side note is that my billies go all the way up to the ceiling. I used to just have the regular size and it goes to here, but then I bought the extender and it adds about 14 inches to your shelf, and I liked that it just went all the way to the top and maximized that space. So my second billy is all Disney. I have a major work in progress shelf here. This side illustrates pretty well my plans for the shelf with the Casey Jr. elevated back there. So I want to continue that on this side and have it be just a really epic centerpiece for my love of the park. Got Toy Story, one of my favorite movies, a really awesome Alice in Wonderland shelf that has come together marvelously. And then, wow, pun intended, my Marvel collection is below that. And it bleeds into some more Disney that continues over on the top with the beginnings of what could potentially be a small soda collection, my Haunted Mansions collection, Sword in the Stone, some TV moments, and then Star Wars, and PBS Kids, which is a really special collection to me, and of course Pride. Now, a lot of questions that I get online about being a Funko Pop collector, being a collector in general, are what do you do for work? Do you have a full-time job? And while sometimes invasive, I'm always happy to tell people I work a full-time job and I actually do it from right here. So this is my desk that I work at every single day, 9 to 5. My computer casts onto that screen. I will listen to music while I work and film videos on my lunch break. I'll hit post sometimes throughout the day. You see me posting a lot on TikTok and Instagram because I work really hard to draft and batch a bunch of content so that during my work week, I don't have to think about it and I can just hit post. The work and social media balance has actually become quite the art form because I'm able to focus on my job and, creating a life for myself and making a living so that I can support things like my hobbies, but also sustain the hobby and the creator lifestyle. Luca is one of my favorite Pixar movies ever, and I have a whole corner dedicated to the Pops and some artwork from Disney and this clock that my friend Brooklyn made. I guess since we're on this area of my room, it would be a good time to start talking about Loungefly, and then my Loungefly collection can kind of bleed into my favorite part of my room, which is my Winnie the Pooh collection. So my love of Loungefly comes from my love of Winnie the Pooh. These are all Winnie the Pooh bags. Some of my favorite designs by the company, including a pop feature bag. I've got this bag and then these two Loungefly exclusives celebrating the 95th anniversary right above my pin collection, which is primarily Winnie the Pooh. My intention for this collection is to keep it Winnie the Pooh, but just so that the board isn't super empty, I have some of my other miscellaneous pins, including Disney Park stuff and other favorite characters of mine. Moving from my desk area, this is the view out of my window. Feels very, very secluded and private, which I love. And the window goes into my next area of my room where I sleep and where I have all my Winnie the Pooh stuff. So this is very much a Winnie the Pooh side of the room. We've got my little keychain that I transformed into just a pocket pop circling on his magnetic display, and that's on my nightstand with my Lego set right next to my bed. This is where I sleep. And then these shelves on my bed are actually attached to the bed frame. So this is a day bed style bed frame from Overstock, and this shelf is built into the frame. And I get questions all the time like, wow, does stuff fall over? And it definitely doesn't. It's a pretty sturdy bed frame. Sometimes that little Piglet Funko Pop falls down, but I think it's just because it's a super small figure. And occasionally my little Doorables will fall off that perch right there. But for the most part, it's super sturdy and I have no problems with it. Honestly, putting this whole Winnie the Pooh side of my room together has been such a labor of love. It has brought me so much joy to think about how all of my different collector pieces can fit together. Obviously, Funko is a huge part of that, but my wall shows that I have some different pieces. I've got little statues implemented throughout, books, plushies, things like that, and it is just my favorite thing ever. Got a couple backpacks over there too. Those are not Loungeflies on the top, they're Danielle Nicole's, and then 2 holiday Loungeflies below. Now in this corner of my room, I usually keep some items that are going to soon be added to the display here. So I have a pop there that's signed, I have a little piece that I want to hang on the wall, and then the record and those 2 books stay leaning against the wall like that, but that basket is actually full of plushies. That'll probably have to be a later video, but inside of there, oh my gosh, it looks like a total secret dark compartment. There are a bunch of plushies, and I have friends who tease me that they've known nothing about my plush collection and they don't believe that I actually have any. So that's really it. You've seen every part of my room now. You've seen my different collections. You've seen where I work. You've seen where I sleep. And I wouldn't have it any other way. I am so happy in this space. I am so thrilled with the ways that it starts to come together, with the ways that I see it coming together in the future. I have plans, you know, for new pops, and I have pre-orders coming, and I have just so many things that are always in the works, but that's kind of the fun of the collector journey, is that we're always adding new things and changing things around, and I think that our collections and our displays are always going to be ever changing, and that's kind of the fun thing. And that's pretty much it, friend. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for watching. If you made it this far, I hope you enjoyed. If you're one of those people that's been asking me for my room tour, thank you so much for the support. Make sure you hit that subscribe button so that you can keep up with my YouTube channel. I hope to be posting pretty regularly here. Please leave comments below if there's anything you would like to see a YouTube video on. If you want a detailed unboxing, a review of anything. I obviously post a lot of video content on my social media, but YouTube is a place where we can make it maybe a little more personal or a little more detailed and a little more high quality. So I hope you enjoyed this, and as always, I'm here. My DMs are open. If you ever have questions, I'm happy to help. And let's do this. Let's have a really great year, and I just can't wait to see what we have in store.